my first wine book was on Canadian wine, all Canadian wine in 1984, and it didn't do very well. But then, given how poor the wines were in the 80s, that shouldn't be surprising. I was ahead of the time, and then I started 10 years later. I did the first Wineries of British Columbia, did a couple of other BC books, then I did an ice wine book, and then I came back to writing about the BC industry and did the second Wineries of BC and the third Wineries of BC in the last decade, plus tour guide to the Okanagan in 3 editions, and a picture book with a photographer. And now, by the end of this month, we'll have a tour guide out for the wineries of the coast and the islands.
Even though there's talk that production is pretty limited in British Columbia, but there seems to be enough that it's feeding these new wineries that keep popping up. I think they're close to 25 in this area between south of McIntyre Bluff and Soyuz here, the border of the U.S. and BC.
Yeah, and 200 and roughly 20 now in all of British Columbia. It's my sense is if we get a normal vintage, the last two have had difficulties where the crop has been reduced by winter kill, by weather issues. If we got a normal year and all those vines that have been planted over the last 5 or 10 years are in full production, there's going to be more wine than the conventional British Columbia markets are going to absorb. British Columbia wineries have been extraordinarily fortunate in that their consumer base is more loyal than it is in some other wine regions. But the pipeline is relatively full, and if we get a normal vintage, there's going to be wine looking for a market. There are markets. People are going to have to try a little harder to sell across the country. Selling across in the United States, which would seem logical because we're so close, is not as easy as it sounds because of the complexities of the American distribution system. It's just mind-numbing for a small winery. For a big winery, you've got the resources to do it, but if you're a 2,000 to 5,000 case producer, you're not going to bother.
Right, yeah. I don't know if there's anybody that's got the international expertise on ice wine that you have. Where do you think the industry is now as far as BC ice wine?
It's ice wine is for Canadian consumers has been and will continue to be largely a curiosity. The big producers of ice wine here and in Ontario spend a lot of time on the road selling ice wine in Asia and other markets. I go into a VQA store with a big range of ice wines. There's a VQA store in West Vancouver. There was a magazine article on it recently as the largest collection of ice wine. And, I looked at it and began to laugh because what that says is the largest amount of unsold ice wine. It's too expensive. Consumers don't understand it for the most part. I'm very sad because it's a beautiful wine, but it's been sort of put into that impossible niche that you buy one and you give it to somebody for a gift and they keep it for 5 years, not knowing what to do with it. And I don't think the industry has ever worked hard enough to break it out of that niche. They're putting it out in 200 ml formats, which makes it a little more affordable, but they're still not selling how to serve it. For example, serving it as an aperitif before the meal. Every time I mention this to a winery, they say, "Gee, it's not a bad idea." Of course, it's not a bad idea. People usually, by the end of the meal, have had so much wine to drink they don't want an ice one. Our strong suit still remains Pinot Noir, Cabernet Franc. Pinot Blanc grows very well here. It doesn't make that interesting a wine, unfortunately. Chardonnay grows well, even though it's out of fashion. Riesling is being rediscovered. Pinot Gris is probably the champion of our white wines. Still developing vigorously as it has been for about 15 or 20 years. This has been an industry that's continually surprised me with new entrants, but more so with the rising quality of the wine.